Deep in the heart of the Brazilian wilderness, etched into a massive monolith of gneiss, lies a code that should not exist. It is a silent sentinel, standing in the middle of a dry riverbed in the state of Paraíba, carrying a message that has remained undeciphered for millennia. This is the Pedra do Ingá, the Ingá stone. It is perhaps the most significant and most baffling archaeological site in South America, yet it remains largely unknown to the rest of the world. What we see carved into its surface isn't just primitive art. It is a complex, mathematically precise series of symbols that some researchers believe is a sophisticated star map, dating back 9,000 years. This discovery doesn't just add a footnote to history. It threatens to dismantle everything we thought we knew about the early inhabitants of the Amazon and the surrounding regions. For decades, the standard narrative taught in schools and universities was simple. The ancient Amazon was a pristine wilderness, inhabited only by small nomadic tribes of hunter-gatherers who left behind little more than stone arrowheads and basic pottery. These were people supposed to be struggling for survival, with no time or capacity for complex mathematics, advanced astronomy, or monumental stone masonry. But the Ingá stone and the thousands of other petroglyphs, known as Itacoatiaras, scattered across the Amazon basin, tell a completely different story. They speak of a civilization with its eyes fixed firmly on the heavens, a culture that understood the movements of the stars and the cycles of the cosmos with a precision that rivals the ancient Egyptians or Sumerians. When you first approach the Ingá stone, its scale is overwhelming. It is 24 meters long and nearly 4 meters high. Covered in over 400 individual engravings, the rock surface is a chaotic yet structured tapestry of symbols. There are spirals, points, circles, and shapes that resemble animals and human figures, but also something much more intriguing: U-shaped etchings and geometric patterns that follow a strict mathematical regularity. These aren't the random scratches of a primitive people. They are deeply incised into the hard gneiss, a rock that is incredibly difficult to carve without metal tools. Yet, according to official dating, these carvings were made long before the development of metallurgy in this region. This raises our first impossible question: how were these deep, precise grooves created by a people who supposedly only possessed primitive stone tools? The mystery deepens when we look at the arrangement of the symbols. Researchers like Gabriele Baraldi have spent decades studying the stone, and the conclusions they've reached are staggering. Many of the symbols on the Ingá stone aren't just abstract art. They are astronomical charts. There are clusters of dots that correspond with terrifying accuracy to the Pleiades star cluster. There are representations of the Milky Way, specifically the Great Rift, the dark clouds of dust that obscure the center of our galaxy. There are depictions of Orion and signs that point to the observation of solar and lunar eclipses. This isn't just a collection of drawings, it is a permanent record of the sky from 9,000 years ago. If these are indeed star maps, the implications are profound. To map the stars with this level of detail requires long-term observation, a complex system of measurement, and a way to transmit this data across generations. It suggests a sedentary, organized society with a specialized class of astronomers or priests. This contradicts the hunter-gatherer narrative entirely. You don't build a permanent astronomical observatory in stone if you are constantly on the move searching for your next meal. You do it when you have established a culture that values the relationship between the earth and the divine, between the ground and the stars. The Ingá stone is not an isolated anomaly. Throughout the Amazon basin, in places where the forest is so thick it feels impenetrable, researchers are finding Itacoatiaras, a Tupi-Guarani word meaning painted stones. These are massive river rocks and outcrops covered in similar petroglyphs. Many of them are submerged for most of the year, only becoming visible during extreme droughts. In late 2023, A severe drought in the Amazon revealed a trove of previously hidden carvings at the Ponto das Lajes site near Manaus. These faces, etched into the rock thousands of years ago, seem to stare back at us from a forgotten past, reminding us that the Amazon was once a bustling hub of human activity. The sheer volume of these sites suggests that the ancient Amazon was far more populated and technologically advanced than we ever dared to imagine. We are talking about a network of cultures that utilized the rivers as highways and the stones as canvases for their knowledge. But why the focus on the stars? For ancient peoples, the sky was the ultimate calendar. It told them when the floods would come, when to plant, and when to migrate. But the symbols at Ingá go beyond mere agricultural utility. They reflect a cosmological worldview. The mathematical regularity found in the U-shapes and the linear sequences suggests a numerical system, perhaps a way of calculating long cycles of time, similar to the long count calendar of the Maya. Some researchers have pointed out the uncanny similarities between the symbols on the Ingá stone and those found in other parts of the world. There are parallels with the Rongorongo script of Easter Island, the ancient carvings of the Indus Valley, and even North African petroglyphs. This has led to controversial theories about transoceanic contact, or even a mother culture that spread this knowledge across the globe. While conventional archaeology remains skeptical of these links, the visual evidence is hard to ignore. Why would cultures separated by thousands of miles of ocean use the same specific geometric patterns to represent the same celestial phenomena? The technical achievement of the Ingá stone cannot be overstated. Gneiss is a metamorphic rock, extremely hard and resistant to weathering. To carve into it as deeply as the ancients did would require a material harder than the rock itself. If they didn't have metal, they would have had to use specialized abrasives and a level of patience and skill that is almost hard to comprehend. The grooves are smooth, consistent, and intentional. There are no mistakes visible on the stone surface. It was a masterwork, executed by people who knew exactly what they were doing and wanted it to last forever. As we delve deeper into the 9,000-year-old timeline, we find ourselves at the end of the last ice age, a period of massive environmental transition. This was the time of the Younger Dryas, a period of abrupt climate change that saw the extinction of megafauna and the shifting of entire ecosystems. It is possible that the Ingá stone was a response to this chaos. In a world that was rapidly changing, the stars remained the only constant. By mapping the heavens, these ancient people were seeking order in a world of upheaval. They were anchoring themselves to the cosmos. But who were they? The mainstream view often attributes these carvings to the ancestors of the current indigenous tribes. However, many of these tribes themselves have legends of white-skinned or different people who lived in the land before them, builders of cities and makers of the great stones. They speak of the sons of the sun, who came to teach them agriculture and medicine. Could the Ingá stone be the work of a lost civilization that predates the known indigenous groups? A civilization that vanished, leaving only their astronomical secrets etched into the bedrock of Brazil. The precision of the Ingá carvings also challenges our understanding of the evolution of writing. While these aren't phonetic letters, in the way we understand them, they are a form of proto-writing. They convey complex information through a standardized set of symbols. If we can't read them, it's not because they are primitive, but because we have lost the key to their language. It is a visual code that combines geometry, astronomy, and perhaps even music. Some researchers have even suggested that the spacing of certain symbols follows musical intervals, creating a lithophone of sorts where the stone itself was meant to be played or resonated. The more we look at the Amazon, the more we realize that it is not a natural forest in the way we once thought. It is an anthropogenic landscape, a garden created and managed by humans for thousands of years. We find terra preta, the hyper-fertile man-made black soil covering vast areas. We find geoglyphs, massive earthworks in geometric shapes, only visible from the air, spanning hundreds of miles. And we find the Itacoatiaras, the star maps. All of these pieces fit together to form a picture of a sophisticated, high-density society that lived in harmony with the jungle, rather than being conquered by it. The Ingá stone is the crown jewel of this hidden history. It stands as a defiance of the primitivism we have projected onto ancient South Americans. When we look at the U-shapes, the points, and the spirals, we aren't looking at doodles. We are looking at a prehistoric computer, a device for tracking time and space. The mathematical regularity is the smoking gun. Nature doesn't produce perfect spirals or equidistant dots in long, straight lines. Only intelligence does that. And only a highly developed intelligence can correlate those shapes with the position of stars thousands of light years away. The tragedy of the Ingá stone, and many sites like it, is the lack of intensive, well-funded research. For too long, South American archaeology was focused on the Andes and the Incas, while the Amazon was dismissed as a counterfeit paradise where civilization could never take root. Now we know better. We are seeing the outlines of a lost world, a civilization that may have been as grand as any in the Old World, but built from wood, earth and spirit, leaving only its most vital messages in stone. Imagine the scene 9,000 years ago. A group of astronomers gathers at the riverbed. The river is low, exposing the great stone. By the light of torches, they compare their observations of the night sky with the markings on the rocks. They are recording a rare celestial alignment, perhaps a comet or a supernova, that would not be seen again for millennia. They are not just hunters, they are guardians of knowledge. They understand the tilt of the Earth's axis, the precession of the equinoxes, and the grand dance of the planets. They know that stone is the only medium that can survive the humidity of the jungle and the passage of eons. They carve for us. The Ingá stone is a challenge to our modern arrogance. We like to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of human achievement, the only ones to truly understand the universe. But when we stand before this 9,000-year-old star map, we are humbled. We realize that the ancients were just as curious, just as brilliant, and perhaps even more connected to the reality of the cosmos than we are today. They didn't need telescopes to see the stars. They needed only their eyes, their minds, and their unwavering dedication to recording the truth. This is the mystery of the Amazonian Itacoatiaras. They are the fingerprints of a ghost civilization. Every year more of these sites are discovered, and every year the timeline of human history in the Americas gets pushed back further and becomes more complex. We are no longer looking at a new world that was recently populated. We are looking at a very old world that has forgotten more than we currently know. The Ingá stone is a bridge to that forgotten era, a silent testimony to the fact that 9,000 years ago, in the heart of Brazil, someone was watching the stars and writing down the secrets of the universe. As we continue to strip away the layers of the Amazon, both through archaeological discovery and, unfortunately, through deforestation, we are faced with a choice. We can continue to ignore these signs, dismissing them as mysterious but irrelevant, or we can listen to what the stones are trying to tell us. The mathematical regularity, the astronomical precision, and the sheer technical difficulty of the Ingá stone are not accidents. They are a call to action. They demand that we rethink our past so that we can better understand our future. The star maps of the Amazon are not just impossible because of when they were made. They are impossible because they don't fit into our current comfort zone of history. But the stones don't care about our theories. They remain where they were placed, enduring the sun, the rain, and the passage of centuries. They wait for a generation that is finally ready to decode their message. Until then, The Pedra do Ingá stands as a silent monument to the greatness of a lost people, a riddle etched in gneiss, a map to the stars that we are only just beginning to learn how to read. When we look at the petroglyphs at sites like Ingá, we also have to consider the ritualistic and spiritual significance. In many ancient cultures, astronomy was not a separate discipline from religion. The stars were the dwellings of gods, the ancestors, or the blueprints of creation. The act of carving these symbols into stone was likely a sacred act, a way of grounding the celestial power into the physical world. This could explain why the carvings are often found near water. In indigenous South American cosmology, water is a mirror. The river reflects the sky, creating a connection between the above and the below. The Ingá stone, situated in a riverbed, becomes the physical point where these two worlds meet. But the sheer technical precision remains the most jarring element for skeptics. Some of the grooves are so deep and so regular that they appear as if they were made with a high-speed rotary tool. While we aren't suggesting ancient aliens, we must consider that these primitive people possessed technologies or techniques that have been lost to time. Perhaps they used a specific type of acidic plant extract to soften the rock before carving, a technique rumored to have been used by the builders of Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Or perhaps their mastery of abrasive sands and bow drills was far beyond what we have replicated in modern experiments. Whatever the method, the result is a masterpiece of prehistoric engineering. The Ingá stone is not just a rock with drawings. It is a monumental archive. It tells us that 9,000 years ago, there were people in Brazil who were thinking about the infinite. They were measuring the cosmos. They were mathematicians, astronomers, and artists. They were a civilization in every sense of the word, and they have left us a puzzle that challenges the very foundations of our historical narrative. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the planet, but it is also the planet's greatest library, one where most of the books have been buried or burned by time. The Itacoatiaras are the few remaining pages we can still read. They suggest that the cradles of civilization were not just in Mesopotamia or Egypt, but also in the vast green expanses of South America. The star maps of Ingá are a reminder that human genius is not limited by geography or era. It is a universal constant, as steady as the constellations they mapped so long ago. As modern technology, like LiDAR and satellite imaging, continues to peer through the forest canopy, we are finding more evidence of this massive, lost Amazonian culture. Huge circular villages, complex road networks, and massive agricultural mounds are appearing where we once thought there was only untouched nature. The Ingá stone is the intellectual center of this discovery. It provides the why to the what. Why build a civilization here? Because these people saw themselves as part of a cosmic order, and they were determined to record their place in it. The mystery of the Pedra do Ingá is a journey into the heart of the human spirit. It's about our innate need to understand our surroundings and to leave a mark that says, "We were here, and we knew the stars." It's a story that is still being written, as every new discovery at the site, or in the wider Amazon, brings us one step closer to the truth. The 9,000-year-old star maps are no longer just a myth or a fringe theory. They are a physical reality that we must confront. As we look up at the same stars the ancients of Ingá once watched, we feel a connection across the millennia. The Pleiades still shimmer in the night sky, Orion still hunts across the horizon, and the Milky Way still stretches its glowing arm across the darkness. The symbols on the stone are a bridge across time, reminding us that no matter how much our technology changes, our curiosity remains the same. We are still a species that looks at the stars and asks, what does it all mean? The answers may be right there, etched into a 24-meter block of gneiss in the Brazilian scrubland. We just need to be brave enough to read what is written. The Ingá stone is a challenge to every historian, every archaeologist, and every curious mind. It is a testament to a lost chapter of our human story, one that is finally being told. The impossible star maps of the Amazon are impossible no longer. They are the evidence of a past more glorious and more mysterious than we ever imagined. And as the sun sets over the Paraíba landscape, casting long shadows across the deep grooves of the stone, one can almost feel the presence of the ancient ones who stood here. They are gone, but their knowledge remains, carved into the very bones of the earth. They have given us the map. Now it is up to us to follow it and rediscover the lost world they left behind. Think about the implications for our understanding of human migration. If a sophisticated society was already established in the heart of Brazil 9,000 years ago, with the time and resources to create monumental star maps, how much earlier did they arrive? This pushes the settlement of South America back much further than the Clovis first model ever allowed. We are looking at a deep history that spans tens of thousands of years, with cultures rising and falling, leaving behind only the most durable traces of their existence. The Ingá stone also forces us to rethink the concept of isolation. We often think of these ancient tribes as being cut off from the rest of the world. But if their star maps show a global understanding of the heavens, and if their symbols mirror those found on other continents, perhaps they were part of a much larger, global network of knowledge. Information could have traveled much faster and further in the ancient world than we give it credit for. The star maps could be part of a universal language of the ancients, a shared code used by the architects of the world's most mysterious megaliths. Every time we think we have the history of the Americas figured out, a site like Pedra do Ingá appears to throw a wrench in the gears. It is a reminder that we must remain humble in the face of the past. Our ancestors were not simpler versions of us. They were us, with the same brains, the same creativity, and the same drive to understand the infinite. They just used different tools and a different language. The Ingá stone is their legacy, a gift from 9,000 years ago that is still waiting to be fully unwrapped. As the river flows past the stone, slowly wearing it down over the centuries, we are reminded of the urgency of this research. These sites are fragile. They are threatened by erosion, by vandalism, and by the changing climate. We must document them, study them, and protect them before the message they carry is lost forever. The impossible star maps of the Amazon are a call to protect our shared human heritage, to honor the brilliance of those who came before us, and to continue the quest for knowledge that they began on the banks of the Ingá River 9 millennia ago. The journey into the mysteries of the Ingá stone and the Amazonian Itacoatiaras is far from over. In fact, it is just beginning. Every year, new techniques in dating and digital analysis allow us to see the carvings in a new light. We are finding hidden layers, subtle details that were missed by the naked eye. We are beginning to hear the whispers of the ancient ones, speaking through the geometry and the stars. It is a conversation that has been interrupted for thousands of years, but the dialogue is finally reopening. And the things we are learning are changing our world forever. The Amazon was never just a jungle. It was a home, a laboratory, a temple, and a library. The Ingá stone is the most profound evidence of this truth. It is a beacon from the past, shining a light on a lost civilization that once reached for the stars. As we move forward into the future, we carry the memory of these ancient astronomers with us, knowing that our history is much older, much richer, and much more mysterious than we ever dreamed. Explore the secrets of our past and keep questioning the history you think you know.